I'd like to say I dressed up for the occasion for you today. I put on a hat. I was trying to decide before I started today's video if I like better or worse than I have the last few days. I don't feel worse. I finally slept in the bed last night. Just trying to process how many nights it took, and I don't know that it really matters. I was so exhausted that when I curled up on the couch, I just could not get comfortable. My body said enough. Um, so I found a channel on Netflix called The Crackling Log or The Fire Crackle or something, and it had music in the background, and I was able to play that in the other room and go lay down in the bed. I've never been one that could fall asleep to the TV. Like, I have serious FOMO. I need to know what's happening, so I'll drift in and out instead of just passing out and rewatching it. Like, it's Netflix. You just hit rewatch episode. Like, I'm aware, I get that, but no, like, FOMO's a real thing. Maybe that's why I don't watch TV, because I can't give it my undivided attention and then I get frustrated. That's possible. Um, the only time in my life that I remember consistently needing a television to be able to fall asleep, what was the show? It's the one with lawyers and cops. It's been around forever. Uh, it predates CSI. Anyway, it's got that theme song that if I were to sing it, it would be stuck in your head forever, so I won't. You're welcome. I Law and Order. There we go. I spent many moons falling asleep to that when I went through one of the darkest times in my life. Um, and I want to add self-inflicted darkest times, and I don't think, for me personally, self-inflicted dark times are way worse than anything anybody else could have imposed on me. Because instead of saying, he or she did that to me, and now I have to get over it, I have to say, I did it to myself. What now? And sure, they all stem from other things, and I get that that's a theme, but how do you redeem yourself from that? How do you pull yourself back from the ugliness that you can become, especially if that's your greatest fear? So, I struggle with falling asleep to television because I'm instantly transported back to that place. The only caveat to that is if I'm snuggled up on my wife, she can put on a movie and about 30 seconds later I'm done. Give me a minute, I might start snoring. So we don't watch a lot of movies in our house, I'm pretty sure, because unless she wants me to sleep like curled up like a dog on top of her, there's no point. Um, I like movies. It's my safe place, and my body just relaxes, and even thinking about it, you can see me relax. So, kudos to me. I slept in the bed last night. With the fire crackle log music, whatever, I was able to not hear the cars that kept passing last night and the neighbor that keeps getting in and out of their car with their car alarm. Like, y'all, this truck is beautiful. I would drive this truck home. It's gorgeous. Why you got that touchy and alarm on it if you can't use it, bro? We can't have nice things when you do things like that. So, and I don't think I would pay that much attention to it if the Airbnb didn't have like 45 listings about how we have to be respectful of others. I also made the mistake, I thought this was a full house because that was what I checked off when I was going through my stuff. And then when it opened up into the full thing, it said it was for an apartment. I just don't play well with others. It's a thing. When I expect to have my space, I expect to have like my space. So, even if they were the quietest mouses in the world, or if they weren't here, I'd probably find something wrong with them. So, to be fair, I don't know that it's on them, but for real, it's a real nice truck, and that alarm system is sensitive. Bro. Or girl, I don't know. Maybe it's a sis. I apologize. I don't know. I don't know. But I say bro because that's what I refer to myself as. And I've tried to give that some thought, but I don't have any thoughts behind it. I've always referred to everything about myself as masculine and bro. And when I talk about a teddy bear, it's bro. And when I talk about this, it's bro. And when I talk about that, it's bro. But I identify 100% as a female. I like my boobs. I like my cleavage. I like my lipstick. I like not wearing makeup. I like wearing heels. I like wearing tennis shoes. So, I mean, is there like an in between, like a bro cis? Like, I guess if I were to identify as anything, like, I'd be in that realm. No, you can't have my stilettos, and yes, I'm still gonna wear a suit every day. I want to live in that realm. So, trying to work on being not offensive to others in reference to bro or feminine, masculine, but also to be respectful of myself. And the fact that I have spent many moons thinking that girls were inferior. By girls, I mean myself. Were inferior because of society, because of what I've lived through. I mean, you can pick a direction, point at it, and I could probably give you a reason, but whatever it is, I believed it to be true. Did you catch that? Whatever was said or done, I believed as a truth, so therefore I held on to it as a truth. Doesn't actually matter if it was true, it was my perception. And I'm not as confident when I have my boobs and ass out. I enjoy it every now and then, but I'm more confident, I'm more comfortable in my skin when I'm hiding in a hoodie, when I've got my baggy jeans on. As my brothers will tell you, when I have my sway, I don't have one, by the way. I used to think I did, and really I think I was just trying to keep my boxers up. Look, I'm pretty sure if phones had been around like they are now, somebody would have a hilarious video of me trying to... Anyway, I hope you can imagine it, because it'd be priceless. Maybe I'll have one of them send me a video of what it used to look like. That could be fun. So, today's plan is to get crack-lacking on writing. I finished out the chapters this morning. So I learned this really cool trick when I was at Redken Induction. And what they had us do is you would section out, your class. So you would write on Post-its, what are the things you want to teach through your class, and you just put them out on a wall. And then you took those Post-its and you were able to rearrange as your brain saw it out. Because sometimes when you have all these ideas, you can't really place where all the ideas need to go, so you just got to go put them somewhere. So I kind of used that idea with the book. I was able to post it the whole place. Then last night I went and created the 6 pieces of content that all of these things lived under, and then I was able to clearly define the chapters that they went within. So this morning I finished out Act 3. Let me back up. 6 pieces of content, 2 of each of those contents live in an act. Therefore, this morning, Act 3, I was able to go through and finalize those 2 pieces of content and get those chapters laid out. So I went from a whole apartment full of Post-its to now I have 6 neat little stacks, all with their chapter names, all with their ideas. And so now I just go write. And the thing I struggle with is I just want it to be perfect when it comes out of me. And I think that's normal as a creative, as a human. Like, you have this perfect idea and then you see it in front of you and, like, that looks like shite. I don't know who's going to read that or want it, but that looks like crap. But why did that come out of me? And so I'm giving myself some grace to be able to recognize that, like, I just need it out. Where we go from there, we'll see. Um, Something that happened this morning is I was talking to a good friend of mine, and I want to back up. I read a while ago in a book that you can pick and cultivate your friends just like you pick and cultivate a romantic relationship. And that blew my mind. Like, I never thought about the fact that, like, you could look at somebody and be like, I want to be your friend. I did that in high school, but I always did it with not the people that I was really looking at wanting to be friends with. I just looked at them and said, you look interesting, or you look like a badass, or you look terrifying, and I want to be your friend. Um, my friend Paul is a great example of that. I was in Marlboro, Illinois. We had this place called The Lot. It is now a beautiful park, so you can't find it anymore. But we would all congregate, put our cars there, and we would just hang out because we didn't have any place else, and nobody's house was acceptable. My house sure as hell wasn't. And so I remember pulling in one day, and there was this tall guy, kind of just tall, skinny, tattoo down his arm. And you have to understand, 19 years ago, tattoos weren't like they are now. 20 years ago, tattoos, scum of the earth had tattoos. You weren't. I don't even want to go down because that is a whole nother rabbit hole. Let me just tell you, I got denied from a job because I had a tattoo that they couldn't see because they were afraid I was going to steal from them. Okay, tattoo culture has changed in my lifetime, which is very weird to say. So anyway, I remember walking up to Paul and just looking at him and being like, who the fuck are you? And he looked at me and he's like, who the fuck are you? And I was like, I'm Elizabeth. I went by a different name. But I need to know who the fuck you are. And he was like, well, I guess we're just going to be friends now. And we were pretty much inseparable from that point on. That's not really what I mean by becoming friends with people. And spoiler alert, I don't talk to Paul anymore. Not because I think he's a terrible person. Not because I know anything about his life anymore. But because we just separated paths in life. And I don't know what he's doing. I don't know where he is. I don't know what he's up to. But my life doesn't cross his path. Not good, not bad. But if I'm going to cultivate the people, I want the people that are in my bubble to be people that believe what I believe. Paul was a drinking buddy. I don't drink anymore. I believe that the world should be full of hope. What he and I originally had conversations about did not have to do with hope. I don't know that it really revolved around revenge, but I'd say some despair was in there. And if you want to cultivate your friends, write down the things that you want. Maybe they're not true about you yet. So this friend that I spoke to this morning is absolutely somebody I look up to. And she's my friend. See, your friends shouldn't be on pedestals, but they should have things that you want to be better at, and they should have things that they're going to call you out on, not because they're going to make fun of you. That's the part that I always missed. I had a lot of friends in high school. Not that I had a lot of friends. Most of my friends in high school were people that picked on me or made fun of me or I was the butt of jokes. And not because I'm accidentally fucking hilarious, because I am. I walk into walls. But because it was a way to pull the attention off of them. That's not okay. That's not friendship. That's making you the butt of their jokes. And it doesn't make them bad because they don't know how to make friends either. So, not angry, just is. So this friend that I was speaking to this morning just told her where I was and what I was doing, and she was like, sweet, I can't wait to read the book. And I was like, you don't want to read it? Why? Why am I going through a week of torturing myself to write all of this if I don't want her to read this? What is it that I think she's going to find out about me? And how often do we do that to our friends? So I really had to sit down and think about it. And she just laughed. She was like, okay, well, I don't really care if you want me to read it or not. I'm going to read it. I'm going to read all the books you write because that's what friends do. P.S. You want those friends. You want the friends that see that you're hiding something because you're scared and say, fuck you, I'm going to read it anyway. Those are real friends. And what I'm scared of, not the book being a failure. Not that my life is going to be read by people, because I wouldn't be writing it if that was an issue. I'm scared that she'll pity me. I'm scared that she'll find some reason to dislike me that I haven't already shared with her in the last coming up on a decade. Those are all irrational fears. Those are all reasons for me to build blocks for her not to be around. See, that's the thing about friendship, is that when you cultivate a friendship that you want, you also have to cultivate not putting up the blocks. You also have to cultivate your insecurities. You also have to call yourself out on your bullshit. So today as I write, I will remind myself to call myself out on my bullshit. Today as I write, I will force myself to do things I don't want to do. Like currently I don't want to write. That's pretty normal for being a writer, I hear. Rumor has it. If any of you guys happen to jump on here that are a writer and just want to like leave some feedback below, I'll totally take it. I also wrote an email to my wife this morning. I've been leaving her little video journals as I go through this. You can tell I get nervous because I start swimming back and forth. Wrote her an email this morning, and so we will see what happens. I want to shave my head. I want my hair gone. I have struggled in this lifetime with the idea of being beautiful or not beautiful. I thought for the longest time I was the ugliest duckling in the world. It was the only thing that I could think of why so many people would hate me. Now, you have to understand, no one actually hated me. It was my perception of what people saw in me. And I don't know that anybody actually saw me as ugly. Maybe weird, but not ugly. But in my head, I thought I was heinous. I thought the reason people treated me the way they did was because I was ugly. So I've always struggled with this idea between beauty and ugly, and then I got into the military where people hit on me and it just felt gross. And then there's the sexual abuse issues and rape, so that also makes you tend to want to hide those things. And fun fact, I was wearing JNCOs and a t-shirt. Doesn't show much, but still want to hide my body. So the idea of getting to shave my head gives me a sense of feeling control, and I'm aware that it's not real control. My control is getting to do this. My control is actually in my choices. But I want the idea of being able to run my hands through my hair and getting to say I did this. And I keep thinking about the monks that they shave off their hair, and the people that just get to start over. That visual change, that when I look in the mirror for the next few weeks, that I started over. I get a new beginning. And I've been thinking about it for a while, that I used to have really long hair, and I have really pretty long hair, and I'd like to grow it out again. So I'd like to grow it out from a place of I chose to, a place of me. So I wrote her an email, and yes, I ask my wife for permission, because if I come home with no hair, there's a certain amount of shock that comes with that. And you'll have to understand, like, I shock my wife often. I feel like there's certain battles that she should be allowed to say yes or no. And permission feels good. I'm not interested in shock value in my relationship with my wife. So you will often hear me talk about permission from my wife. That's what works for us. I don't know that that works for everybody, and I don't know that that's healthy for everybody, but it is healthy in this relationship. So before anybody gets on here and gets all Twitter-pated about, yes, I asked my wife for permission, I choose to ask for it. So we will see what happens with that email. I'm pretty sure I'm the only person I know that would write a 5-paragraph email on why I want to shave my head. We'll see what happens. I did look up a local area for Botox. I also looked up a local area for tattoos, but being that we are still in a pandemic right now, I'm not real interested in going much of anywhere. So maybe I'll look at a 1-year date of getting the tattoo that I want from this week instead of getting it this week. So working on some of that instant gratification, that instant control. You know, I think so often that I try to create momentum rather than trust momentum. And that's something I really want to work on. So, cheers to today. My coffee is gone. That must mean our chat is over. And now to make some magic happen in some chapters and to drink some more coffee. Well, make and then drink the coffees.